Thank you so much for joining us here at the NEBA conference. Would love to learn more about your company and what you're talking about here with investors at NEBA.
Yes, thanks a lot for having me here. The major message we want to talk to investors at this conference is this is a corporate a company rebirth story, and we'd like investors to know us more about it. The last few years, the company is experiencing a painful transition. Basically, we divested most of the legacy business, but we still keep our innovations, and we started this new business, this wonderful screen here, and we are selling to nationwide right now in China, and we are signing up with entrepreneurs who started their advertising companies with our screens.
So let me pause for a moment. I think you started to talk about the rebirth of the company, which is fascinating. Taoping used to be called China Information Technology, correct?
Right.
And explain the shift and how you were able to apply your innovation platform to what you're doing today, which involves not only this terminal, but online advertising and a distribution to consumers, correct?
Right. Originally, the technology or the company, they were famous for the like the Hong Kong Shenzhen border control. They did those equipment that got government attention from the very top. The Chinese president, the premier, they all visited this company before, and they also have this wonderful technology that they sent out policemen in a city wherever there are emergency situations. So they dispatch those policemen very quickly. That's what they were known for. The company decided to do this transition because this public market, the government market, is growing, but the problem there is the account receivable is very long. So the company decided in the like 2012, 2013-ish, they want to shift the focus to the private market. That's where this screen come from. So they have kept the old the whatever the technology they used for the border control, for the police dispatch, those keys and ingredients still in this smart display here. They employed, they added new technologies into this. In a sense, this is a smartphone.
Well, it looks exactly like a large...
Yeah, just a big smartphone.
Absolutely. It looks like a large-sized smartphone, or iPhone, I should say. And it seems like it could have a multitude of applications. And you've seen tremendous growth in China. How many of these terminals are represented across the country? I mean, tell us about your customer base.
Right. Right now, we have about over 100,000 of these display terminals deployed in China. Going back a little bit, in China, there are companies who do similar terminals, but it's not networked. Okay, it's not smart in that sense. Our terminal, 100,000 of them, they're all networked together. So in a sense, the advertiser, if they want to place an advertisement in some city, even though he was in a totally different place, he can do it with his cell phone over our network.
And how does this work? You have it standing in a, you could put it anywhere, display this
basically, it's like a high traffic area, like a inside the elevator, outside the elevator, some communities where you have people, even some of the shopping malls or shopping places.
And who are your biggest customers? What industry sectors do you find you've seen the most growth?
Right now, we kind of say in this way, initially we thought, just like the top players in the space, we kind of thinking maybe the first tier and the second tier city was the, the place. But over the last year, what we find out is actually the third tier, the fourth tier, and the fifth tier cities, that's more maybe our market to be. Because the consumption growth is robust over there, and also we have much less competition in over those space. So our customer, you can see mostly like in a fifth tier city, that's like the county level kind of a city in China. We may have some experienced entrepreneurs. They want to start up with their companies. They are motivated. They will buy our terminals, our display terminals, and put around the buildings over the city.
That's terrific.
And they have their company going that way.
Are you finding a lot of corporates, so corporations that have offices around the world, or potential customers for this terminal?
Yes, we have some of them very famous, like Audi, those car companies. Yep. They do advertisement on our terminals. We have other companies like 58. That's a company also listed in NASDAQ. Is a multi-billion-dollar company. And they also use our terminals to target consumers in the lower tier cities.
And what is the cost for an actual terminal, and how does that work?
The terminal actually is cheaper than most cell phone. Cell phone here, like iPhone, costs like over $1,000. This one actually is about $300.
Oh wow, that's very cost effective. And so then your customers then have to pay for advertising or for the connectivity. How is that?
Our direct customers are those companies, or in our case called alliance members, who buy those terminals from us, right? This is our direct customers. And then there are advertisers who place advertisement in the network, the terminals, and we get a fee from those advertisement revenues. And also we have another interesting features here, because right now, if you do online shopping, most of the Chinese people that we do, like the Alibaba, the Taobao, the Tmall, the Jingdong. But the problem there is the traffic cost. You have a stores in there, right? But for the consumers to know your store, you need to really pay a lot of money to get people's attention. But in our case, advertisers, place advertisement in our network. They can stand out as well, because they can, for example, they can do their advertisement, and then at the same time, they drop some red packet from the terminal, and then consumers, when they see that red packet, they can just use their cell phone and to scan it, and that will bring the consumer to the store who is doing the advertisement. So they can basically bring the store to direct traffic and even purchase.
It's fascinating. The question, you mentioned how, the company went public about 10 years ago or so?
Over 10 years ago.
And so it seems to be getting a lot of visibility. It's had a good revenue story. What other expansion plans are there for the future?
For the future, right now we are in like 111 cities.
It's fascinating.
But in China, if we count all the 5-tier cities and above, 5, 4, 3rd, second and first tier, there are over 2,800 of them. So our plan is, first, we need to penetrate maybe over 1,000 cities. This is the first phase of the plan. And then the next phase is we want to really capture the surface revenue. So what happened, for example, some of the alliance members, they are or they were on our platform for over a year. We are supporting them with all the technologies, and now they get their advertisement revenue. They are profitable. We have some of them. We have a very minority stake in the company, but they are profitable. They are growing. We have the option to acquire those companies as well.
That's true.
So that's another leg of the growth for the future.
Well, it seems like a definitely a multi-phased growth plan, which is exciting to have expansion. You mentioned when we spoke earlier that you were one of the earlier investors before the company even went public.
Right.
What was your attraction to the company? Tell us about the founder and how this concept came about.
Okay. I think the founder, in a sense, he is a very, I should say, dedicated man. Like this stock, for example, it went from initially a few dollars, went to as high as like maybe 20 if you go back in history, and now gradually dropped to like during this transition, dropped to like $1 kind of a stock. The founder, he never sold a single share of the stock. And his word right now is he really wants to make this company great again. And he will come back. He will come back to Wall Street sometime when the stock was back to the $10, $20 range again. And at that time, he can say to investors, whoever trusts me, they are not losing their money, they are making their money back again.
Do you have any partners? I know that the technology is based on the cloud.
Yes.
So let's discuss a bit about the technology and the innovation behind this.
It's really internet, they call it IoT, Internet of Things. So they basically networked all those display terminals together. You can go network with the Wi-Fi or with the regular wireless signal. So in a sense, is just like us. We with our cell phone, we we kind of network there. So they basically network all the display terminals here to form a nationwide. And right now is because we are going into Canada, Singapore, and Taiwan. So it's more than national network now.
And so lastly, you head up finance for the company. What has been the reception here at the conference? Are investors very interested in the potential and the growth in this market?
So far, this is the first year we are in this setting. I think so far I'm encouraged. I hope we get more attention. We get more attention from investors, bankers. They will realize, I think, over time, this is a real rebirth story. We are in turning around. We will grow our revenue, our coverage over the country sustainably for the next few years.
And what does Taoping mean in Chinese?
I guess in a sense we have a Taobao in China. That's like seeking treasure. That's very famous with Alibaba, and Taoping in a sense is seeking a good screen. In a sense, you can make a good advertisement as well.
Well, it's a clever name, and I definitely wish you all a lot of continued success. It seems like there's a lot to do and a lot of untapped markets that you could go into. Lastly, from an innovation standpoint, what are you fascinated most about, and what connection do you see with some of the newer emerging technologies that for Taoping?
Yes. I think right now China is hot in terms of 5G technologies. I think eventually, because right now this connection through wireless or through Wi-Fi But eventually, maybe the next step will be 5G. And with 5G, the connection will be much faster. And in that sense, all the upload of the contents, whether it's video, pictures, advertisement programs, will be much, much faster from cell phone, in that sense. I think that will be a great help over the next few years.
Well, I think it sounds fantastic, and I can't wait to start seeing some of these pop up more here in New York. So hopefully,
we will have a few samples here
awesome.
in New York City. Yes, you will see it.
Well, I'm happy to continue spreading the word, and hopefully we'll see these across the country. So good luck and congratulations on your turnaround story, and wishing you all the best. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.